You're the lawyer and a great one. I'm not. But this just seems to make Donald Trump look awful. Just awful. Your thoughts?
Yeah, Neil, today I thought that the committee focused a lot on linking the former president to this scheme to create the fake electors. And it seems to be a real theme that the committee members are trying to bring out in their statements and their questioning to show that the former president wasn't just a bystander, or that, people who work for him were trying to do this, but that the president was a central player in all of this. That really seems to be one of the themes that these committee members have been pounding on the last few hearings.
So look, let's be clear. That is Neil Cavuto. That is a Fox host who is admitting that this testimony is damning. And look, now we have to balance the fact that Neil Cavuto is not one of the most influential people at Fox. That is totally true. But also, Fox basically doesn't show, let alone cover, what's going on at these hearings. So having Neil Cavuto at least bring it up, let alone as critical a light as that. Like, he is saying that this is damning. He looks awful, which is totally true for a lot of different reasons. In particular, what they're focusing on there is that he clearly had been trying to get this scheme of the alternate electors cooked up, which is not a thing. You can't do that. It's not legal. But much more importantly, since all of this is supposed to hinge on whether what he thought he was doing was legal or not, whether it was based in truth or not, the testimony has made clear that people that he could have and should have trusted were making clear to him at every step along the way that none of this was legal, none of this made sense, they weren't gonna go along with it, and he kept pushing for it too. And that is where it gets into potentially really damning territory for Trump. Now, of course, his fallback defense is that he is a powerful, wealthy, white former president. So that's a pretty good defense against basically anything, Jayar.
The January 6 hearings are not making Trump look awful. They're showing how awful Trump is. It's nothing about making him look that way. Making someone look that way means that you're taking information, you're like applying it to them and making them look a certain way. It's like makeup, and you're covering up his reality and making him look bad. No, what we're doing is taking the makeup off and showing how bad he was. From every detail, from how they planned and targeted and violently pushed this entire plan across, hopefully what they thought was gonna be the finish line. It's showing how awful they were. It's showing how illegal their actions were. It's showing how much they had no intention of following democracy in the way that we normally do things. It's all about Donald Trump.
Over the weekend, a production crew working for Stephen Colbert apparently got arrested while filming in the Capitol. They had been filming a segment in DC with Triumph the Insult Comic Dog, a puppet character. It's a dog. Triumph's performer, comedian Robert Smigel, was among those detained. Now, this happened, they were processed, and that could have been where it ended, but that wasn't where it ended. And it forced Stephen Colbert himself to address the situation on his show. Here's a small clip of that.
But a fairly simple story. Until the next night, when a couple of the TV people started claiming that my puppet squad had, quote, committed insurrection at the US Capitol building. First of all, what? Second of all, huh? Third of all, they weren't in the Capitol building. Fourth of all, and I am shocked I have to explain the difference, but an insurrection involves disrupting the lawful actions of Congress and howling for the blood of elected leaders, all to prevent the peaceful transfer of power. This was first-degree puppetry.
And no, he's right. Not just one, not just two, multiple people on Fox had a big issue with the fact that they had been briefly detained, processed, and then were released. That they were not locked up in solitary confinement for like a year. Because apparently what they had been doing was, in the views of these totally intellectually honest Republicans, an insurrection. I'm gonna give you an example of it. Sean Hannity talked about it last night, saying, where's the outrage from the Democrats? Aren't they concerned about trespassing and securing the Capitol? Or is that only when they can use it to attack Donald Trump? Jason Chaffetz, who Hannity was talking to, former representative, said this: all you asked for is equal application of the law. If somebody breaks the law, they should be charged. On the one hand, I'm glad that the Capitol Police had the political guts to actually arrest these people. There is, I think, a question as to how is it that they got back into the Capitol? Again, they weren't in the actual Capitol building. I want to see these people prosecuted to the same degree and the same outrage that the left pretends on January 6 people. And in fact, Tucker Carlson also said that it was a coup. Now, some of them will argue that they were being satirical. I have issues with that as well. But first, I want to give Stephen Colbert a chance to explain why he's not a fan of this response from the right in this.
But drawing any equivalence between rioters storming our Capitol to prevent the counting of electoral ballots and a cigar-chomping toy dog is a shameful and grotesque insult to the memory of everyone who died. And it obscenely trivializes the service and the courage the Capitol Police showed on that terrible day.
Almost as if by design, almost as if the Republicans do want to denigrate that service. I mean, after all, they support the people who are trying to beat those same cops to death with their bare hands and with fire extinguishers and with Trump flagpoles and things like that.
The idea of comparing a comedy team going to the Capitol to do some sort of joke, whatever they were setting up a sketch for Colbert show, to actually physically attacking the Capitol is so utterly ridiculous that only Tucker Carlson and Sean Hannity disciples would believe that. See, this is what's comical about these people. They always talk tough, right? They like to dress up. They do cosplay. They dress up like they're military. They put on their flak jackets and their camouflage, and they take their AR-15 and head to the supermarket, but they're afraid of a puppet dog. So how tough are you? It's a puppet.